The Pacific Northwest was calm on that November evening in 1971. Families prepared for Thanksgiving feasts. Travelers crowded airports, eager to reach their destinations. High above the earth, a Northwest Orient Airlines Boeing 727 soared through the darkening sky. Flight 305, a routine hop from Portland to Seattle, carried 36 unsuspecting passengers and a crew of 6. Among them was a man who would soon shatter the tranquility of that Thanksgiving Eve. He sat in seat 18E, a nondescript figure blending into the background hum of the cabin. He wore a dark suit and tie, his face partially obscured by sunglasses. This man, known only by the alias he would soon adopt, D.B. Cooper, held a secret, a plan as audacious as it was meticulously crafted. D.B. Cooper. The name itself has become synonymous with mystery and daring. Who was this man who hijacked a commercial airliner, extorted a hefty ransom, and then vanished into thin air? What we know for certain is that he boarded Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon on November 24, 1971, with a one-way ticket to Seattle. Witnesses described him as calm and collected, even polite, throughout the ordeal. As Flight 305 cruised toward Seattle, D.B. Cooper made his move. He passed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. The note's chilling message, "I have a bomb in my briefcase." Cooper's demands were simple yet audacious. $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a refueling truck standing by in Seattle. News of the hijacking spread like wildfire, dominating headlines and airwaves. Little did anyone know that this was just the beginning of a mystery that would endure for decades. Florence Schaffner, a seasoned stewardess for Northwest Orient Airlines, moved gracefully through the cabin of Flight 305. The flight, a short hop from Portland to Seattle, was routine, uneventful. As she approached row 18, a man in a dark suit caught her eye. He sat alone, a nondescript briefcase resting on his lap. He wore sunglasses obscuring his eyes, but his demeanor was calm, almost aloof. He gestured for Florence to lean closer. "Miss," he said, his voice a low murmur, "I have a note for you." Moments later, as Florence worked her way back towards the galley, she remembered the note. Curiosity piqued, she retrieved it from her pocket and unfolded it. The words, scrawled in neat block letters, sent a chill down her spine. "I have a bomb in my briefcase." Florence's heart pounded in her chest. She stole another glance at the man in row 18. He remained seated, outwardly calm, sipping his drink. He then casually opened his briefcase, just enough for Florence to glimpse a tangle of wires and red cylinders. With remarkable composure, Florence returned to the man in row 18. He spoke in a low, measured tone, his voice betraying no hint of panic. "I want $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, 2 primary and 2 reserve, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle. I want it all ready when we land. Do you understand?" Florence, her training kicking in, nodded slowly. She knew she had to alert the captain immediately. With a deep breath, Florence turned and made her way towards the cockpit. The news of the hijacking of Flight 305 reached the Seattle-Tacoma airport like a shockwave. Panic gripped the control tower as air traffic controllers struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. The FBI was immediately notified, and a team of agents led by Special Agent Ralph Himmelsbach rushed to the airport. Time was of the essence, and the pressure was immense. Executives huddled with FBI negotiators, desperate to find a solution that would ensure the safety of the passengers and crew. Lives were at stake and the clock was ticking. As the Boeing 727 circled over Seattle-Tacoma Airport, tensions on board remained high. D.B. Cooper, the enigmatic hijacker, remained calm, his demeanor a chilling contrast to the fear that permeated the cabin. He had allowed the passengers to disembark in exchange for the $200,000 and the parachutes. However, Cooper's instructions were clear. He wanted the plane refueled and ready for takeoff. The crew, Captain William Scott, First Officer Bob Radixak, Flight Engineer Harold Anderson, and stewardesses Tina Mucklow and Florence Schaffner, were to remain on board. They were trapped in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. With the ransom secured and the passengers safely on the ground, D.B. Cooper laid out the next phase of his audacious plan. He demanded that the plane take off again, this time with a course set for Mexico City. He wanted the aircraft to maintain a low altitude, no higher than 10,000 feet, and a slow airspeed, just enough to stay airborne. The flight crew, though apprehensive, followed Cooper's instructions with unwavering professionalism. As the 727 lifted off the runway and into the darkening skies, it carried with it the hopes and fears of a nation captivated by the unfolding drama. The plane disappeared into the vast expanse of the Pacific Northwest. The Boeing 727, now a pawn in D.B. Cooper's grand scheme, droned through the night sky. Below, the landscape was a tapestry of darkness, the rugged terrain of the Pacific Northwest shrouded in a thick cloak of clouds. Inside the aircraft, the atmosphere crackled with tension. The storm, which had been brewing on the horizon, now unleashed its fury. Rain lashed against the windows and the plane shuddered as it was buffeted by turbulent winds. Lightning illuminated the sky in brief, blinding flashes. D.B. Cooper, seemingly unfazed by the storm raging outside, remained calm and collected. He had meticulously planned his escape, and every detail, every instruction he gave to the crew, was calculated to increase his chances of success. He instructed the flight crew to keep the rear stairs lowered, a crucial element of his daring plan. With the plane bucking and swaying in the grip of the storm, Cooper gathered his parachute and the ransom money. He moved with a quiet determination, his face hidden behind the now iconic sunglasses. The crew could only speculate as to what was transpiring in those final moments before Cooper made his move. The storm seemed to reach a crescendo just as D.B. Cooper made his exit. There was a sudden jolt, a change in pressure within the cabin, and then a silence that was as profound as it was unsettling. Cooper was gone. He had stepped out into the night, into the teeth of the storm, and vanished into the darkness below. Captain Scott, his weathered face etched with a mixture of relief and disbelief, broke the silence. "He's gone," he said, his voice barely a whisper. News that D.B. Cooper had jumped from the hijacked Boeing 727 spread like wildfire, igniting a media frenzy and a nationwide manhunt. The authorities launched one of the largest and most extensive searches in American history. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their searchlights cutting through the darkness, while teams of agents on foot combed through dense forests. Every lead, every clue was meticulously followed. But D.B. Cooper had disappeared without a trace. He was a ghost, a phantom who had vanished into thin air. The disappearance of D.B. Cooper triggered one of the largest and most complex investigations in FBI history, dubbed Operation Skyjack. Hundreds of agents were assigned to the case, working tirelessly to track down the elusive skyjacker. They pursued thousands of leads, interviewed countless witnesses, and meticulously pieced together the events leading up to and following Cooper's daring escape. Despite their relentless efforts, the investigation yielded few concrete clues. Cooper had left behind a trail as cold as the November night he disappeared. Years turned into decades, and the mystery of D.B. Cooper continued to captivate the public imagination. In 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram, vacationing with his family on the banks of the Columbia River, stumbled upon a weathered bundle of money partially buried in the sand. The bills, badly decomposed but still identifiable, were a match for the ransom money paid to D.B. Cooper. The discovery of the money reignited the investigation, offering a glimmer of hope that the mystery might finally be solved. The FBI descended upon the Columbia River, conducting extensive searches of the surrounding area. The discovery of the money, while significant, raised more questions than it answered. The discovery of the ransom money on the banks of the Columbia River fueled endless speculation about D.B. Cooper's fate. Some experts theorized that Cooper, burdened by the weight of the money and ill-prepared for the harsh conditions of the Pacific Northwest wilderness, had succumbed to the elements, his body lost to the dense forests or swept away by the unforgiving currents of the river. Others, pointing to the lack of concrete evidence to support the theory of Cooper's demise, maintained that he had survived the jump, using his cunning and resourcefulness to disappear into the annals of criminal history. The debate over D.B. Cooper's fate raged on, dividing armchair detectives and seasoned investigators alike. Was he a tragic figure, a victim of his own hubris and the unforgiving forces of nature? Or was he a criminal mastermind, living out his days under an assumed identity, forever beyond the reach of the law and the clutches of justice? The answer, like so much else in the enigmatic case of D.B. Cooper, remained shrouded in mystery, a testament to the enduring power of the unknown. The mystery of D.B. Cooper, like a dense fog, obscured the truth, making it difficult to discern fact from fiction. The lack of concrete evidence, coupled with the passage of time, only deepened the enigma. Over the years, the FBI chased down countless leads, each offering a tantalizing glimpse into Cooper's possible identity, only to have them evaporate like mirages in the desert. The shadowy world of possible suspects was vast and varied, encompassing a cast of characters ranging from seasoned criminals to unlikely opportunists. Some theories, bordering on the fantastical, proposed that Cooper was a former paratrooper, his skills honed in the battlefields of Vietnam, or a cunning con artist who had meticulously planned the hijacking as the ultimate score. Others, grounded in a more pragmatic reality, pointed to individuals with troubled pasts, desperate men driven to extreme measures by financial ruin or a desire to escape their mundane lives. The FBI, tasked with sifting through the morass of speculation and conjecture, followed every lead, determined to separate truth from fiction. But the answer, elusive as ever, seemed to slip further into the shadows with each passing year. In the annals of aviation crime, few cases have captured the public's imagination quite like the D.B. Cooper hijacking. The audacity of the crime and the mystery surrounding the perpetrator's identity have fueled endless speculation. In the wake of Cooper's escape, the FBI investigated numerous suspects. One name emerged: Richard Floyd McCoy. McCoy, a Vietnam War veteran, resembled the D.B. Cooper sketches. 4 months later, McCoy hijacked a United Airlines Boeing 727. He demanded a ransom and parachuted from the aircraft. The similarities were compelling, making McCoy a prime suspect. Despite evidence, the FBI couldn't link him to Cooper. McCoy's escape and death in a shootout added intrigue to the case. The FBI pursued every lead on D.B. Cooper, no matter how improbable. Kenneth Christensen, a former paratrooper and flight attendant, stood out. His skills and insider knowledge made him a prime suspect. Yet the FBI never found enough evidence to link him to the hijacking. Christensen remained a tantalizing person of interest until his death in 1994. D.B. Cooper, the alias etched into criminal history, remains as elusive today as the night he vanished into the Pacific Northwest wilderness. The hijacking of Flight 305 has evolved into one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. The audacity, meticulous planning, and flawless execution continue to fascinate and perplex. Cooper, a phantom who disappeared into legend, has become a cultural icon. Despite time, the case of D.B. Cooper refuses to fade from public consciousness. The mystery, fueled by books, documentaries, and forums, continues to captivate. Theories abound, each attempting to shed light on Cooper's true identity and fate. Was he a seasoned criminal, a desperate soul, or a cunning opportunist? The answers remain as elusive as Cooper himself. The enduring allure of the D.B. Cooper case lies in the audacity of the crime and the profound mystery that surrounds it. Unanswered questions unravel certainty, inviting speculation and igniting imagination. Did D.B. Cooper survive the leap, or perish in the wilderness? Time has amplified the mystery. D.B. Cooper has become a folk hero, a symbol of daring and rebellion. His legend endures, a testament to the power of mystery.